Greetings, this is m squared, and we're going to do another exponent rule. This one is the power of a power. So what's important to remember is that you have something inside the parentheses raised to a power, and then outside the parentheses raised to a power. There's nothing between those two things except a parenthesis. When that happens, we multiply our exponents. Because if I had 2 squared cubed, cubed means whatever that is 3 times. So I'd have 2 squared times 2 squared times 2 squared. If you remember your multiplication rule, you'd say 2 plus 2 plus 2, which is 3, or you can just say 2 times 3. I'm sorry, 2 plus 2 plus 2 is 6, or 2 times 3, which is 6. So that's the y kind of. So let's use our rule. Power of a power, so it's just y to the 3 times 4, which is 12. Here I have a coefficient and then a variable. So the variable part's easy. We're going to do 3 times 3. But a lot of people get confused. They think for some reason that they just multiply here. You don't multiply the number, the base, times 3. You multiply the exponent times 3. If there's no exponent on the coefficient, then it's a 1. So it's 1 times 3. So this is 2 to the 1 times 3 times x cubed to the 3rd. So you multiply and get x to the 9th. So be careful with that. That's the biggest mistake kids make when they're doing power of powers. Well, 2 cubed is 8. So 8x to the 9th. Okay, and this one, it's okay if there's 2 different variables. We just multiply exponents. So x squared to the 5th is x to the 10th. Y squared to the 5th is y to the 10th. And we just leave it like that. Okay, I have another coefficient. So remember, I have to square everything, including the coefficients. Put a little 1 there. So it's negative 3 squared. Now the negative is inside this parenthesis. So when you square a negative times a negative is a positive. So 3 squared is 9. X to the 4th squared is x to the 8th. Y cubed squared is y to the 6th. And z to the 7th squared is z to the 14th. I just multiply all the exponents. Okay, over here, we've got a negative 2 cubed. That means a negative 2 times a negative 2 times a negative 2. Well, we know 2 cubed is 8, but a negative times a negative times a negative makes it a negative 8. X to the 9th cubed is x to the 27th. Y to the negative 3 cubed is y to the negative 9. And z to the negative 2 times 3, cubed, so you multiply, is z to the negative 6th. Now these have negatives, and often your directions will be to make sure that all your answers have only positive exponents. If not, that's a fine answer. But if you have to get rid of the negative exponents, remember your negative rule says that anything that's negative in the numerator will be positive in the denominator. So I get y to the 9th and z to the 6th. And when I move them down, remember the y stays the same, the exponent stays the same, simply the negative that goes away. So that's your answer on that one. That's your power rule. This is m squared, signing out.